Hi, Professor. My name is Rishma Madlagat. My ID is 100931555. So today I'm going to put across the points that I found through my analysis on whistleblowing. So who is a whistleblower or what is a whistleblowing? So it's basically if when there is a company and there are some unethical practices that's happening in the company that had happened in the past or is happening right now in the present or can happen in the future. So when there is an unethical practice happening in the company, one person is coming forward to complain about that or to, put it across so that the officials, the superior officials in the company is aware of what is happening and they can take the respective measures to avoid that, avoid such practices. So this is one type of whistleblowing. The other type is where a whistleblower comes forward and talks it out or puts it across to another organization that's already prescribed or already mentioned under the protection laws of the whistleblower. The third one is when you feel abused or used because of any of the practices that's happening in the company, and you can again go forward and complain it to the organization, to another organization, or to anyone in your organization itself. So these are the different types of the whistleblowers or whistleblowing procedures or whistleblowing practices that's happening. So now I'm going to explain about the ethical importance of whistleblowing. Like I mentioned, the whistleblowing happens when there is an unethical practice that's happening in the company. An unethical practice can cause a lot of losses for the company financially and at the same time in the societal values or reputation and all those factors as well. So when such stuff happens in a company, it can actually um, create a lot of problem or a lot of dilemma for the people who are working in that company and also for the image of that company. When a whistleblower comes forward and complains about that to whoever is in your organization or to the outside organization, what's happening is that they actually take care of what's happening inside the organization and try to get rid of those practices so that there is no problem for the company to perform more efficiently and also more ethically. So ethically it's very important to, according to me, it's very important to have whistleblowing ethically so that it's more transparent for all the workers in the company so that they can they will always know what's happening in the company, and then it raises the awareness of how they can come forward if there is any issue, and also it can help the company from a lot of losses like the financial losses or the reputation damages and all those stuff. Now, coming to the financial, legal, and societal importance of whistleblowing. Just like I mentioned earlier, the ethical in the ethical importance of whistleblowing. So, whistleblowing can actually help a lot in reducing the financial losses because you are actually encountering the problem, in the initial stages rather than finding the issue after it's full-fledgedly grown, and then you have to come across a lot of financial losses for that. So when you find the issue from the beginning or in the initial stage, it's easier for you to find another solution for that or try to compact whatever losses have been already made. So it's easier that way when you find it during the initial process. Now, in legal format, I would say that it actually creates an awareness among the people in the organization itself that legally you are allowed to do such, when such practices happen in your company, you are allowed to do these things. So these particular laws actually support whatever you're going through or whatever is happening in your company, and you can come across and find a solution for that. So all these legally it creates an awareness among everyone in the organization, and at the same time we can say that legally it also creates a very um, like when the company is performing in an ethical manner, it actually creates an awareness, at the same time creates a fear in the mind of the people so that they do not commit to such practices because they have seen what happens legally when a whistleblower comes forward, like whatever the other people who have done the unethical practices are going through. So all these things actually put a fear in the mind of the employees who are already working in the company. So legally it creates the environment more safe and more secure, I would say. And then in the societal importance, it's like because when there is a whistleblowing incident happening, and then people are ready to move, come forward, and then put across whatever they're going through, I would say it brings a societal image about that you too have the right to come across, or you know just talk about what's happening in your company, so that you can get rid of all those unethical practices that's happening in the company, and then have a smooth working environment. So all these things are what I feel from the financial, legal, and social perspective of whistleblowing. Now, coming to the different type of whistleblower protections that exist. So uh, in my analysis, going through a lot of research papers and websites, what I found is that the different types of protection for the whistleblower is the first one being the legal one. So in legal whistleblower protection, what's happening is that there are a set of rules or set of acts that actually support whoever is coming forward to and putting across the whistleblower complaint. So this is the first thing. So they have a set of rules and acts to protect the particular person who is coming forward. And the second thing is that the person is also protected from the retaliation from the company in form of terminations, dismissal, and all these. So the third one being now the third one is that you're also given rewards, like if you are finding a particular issue with the practices that's happening in your company, and that's actually like a scam where there are a lot of money involved. So there are some rules in which if you come forward and complain about a particular practice, and that had given or rewarded the government with this much money, the government saved this much money because of that. If it comes in between those range, you are capable of getting a percentage of those rewards. So that's what I read on the web pages. So these are the different protections and reward system that's in the whistleblowing. And there is one more that I would like to add to the protection acts. So the other one being, if there are any physical physical abuse threats or mental abuse threats that happening, the government is fully responsible to give you enough support or enforcement to protect you from all those. So these are the different protection acts that's happening in the whistleblowing. Now let's go to the different jurisdictions like Canada, USA, and UK, and let's see how the whistleblowing laws work in those particular countries. First one, I'm going to be taking Canada because we are right now in Canada. So Canada, I would say, is a country that doesn't or that haven't come across that much whistleblower cases in the past years. So this might be because of two reasons. One might be because of the laws that's already enforced or in play in Canada, that might not be that supportive to the whistleblower. Or it might be because of the fact that the people are not aware of what's happening, or what are the legal they're not legally aware of what can be done and how these jurisdictions work. So in Canada, what we have is that we have two different types of jurisdiction laws. So the first one being the PSDPA, which is the Public Servants Disclosure Protection Act. So in this, if you are a public servant, and if there is any problem that's happening in your public sector, you can put across your complaint in this act. And just like I mentioned earlier, you will be safe, or you will be protected against the retaliation from the company or the sector in means of dismissal, termination, and everything. And also you'll be protected in general for your physical and mental well-being as well. So this is one of the categories that's there in the Canadian whistleblower law. The other one being the law or the act for the private sector, which is the section 425.1 of the criminal code. So in that as well, if there is, just like how we explained about the public sector, if there is any whistleblower complaints or any unethical practices that you're facing, you can come across and put it across to the organization or any other or to your organization itself. That's the and then the laws under it that protects you from whatever the retaliations that you could face because of your complaint. So all these come under the private sector as well. So this is the one in Canada. So this is the law jurisdiction in Canada. Now when we are going for USA, so USA is say in my past I could see that USA is actually a place or a country there where there have been a lot of whistleblowing incidents or whistleblowing complaints happening over time with the even the recent one being the whistleblower complaint against the Donald Trump. So all these, it has been continuously happening in the US. So this can actually give us just like I mentioned about Canada, this can actually mean two things for us. One being that the people are more aware because they know what's happening in the country and they know how to put it across to different law enforcement bodies. So the other one being that they are more transparent in whatever they are doing. So it's actually helping others to understand if there is an unethical practice and come forward and put it across to whichever organization it is. So there are just like I mentioned earlier in Canada also, like there are some whistleblower protection acts in USA as well. But in addition to all those protections, they have different bodies that actually makes an impact. So for instance, if there is any safety or healthy administration issues that's happening in your company, like the company is not following a code of practice or code of conduct, and they're not following the code of conduct or the guidelines that's provided by the company, you can always go across to Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. And there is another body called as the Mine Safety and Health Administration. So where that's usually for the labor's mine safety and health administration. And then you have the federal contract complaints programs and wage and hour division. So these are all for the different aspects that can be actually um, used for used unethically by your manager or from the organization. So for the workforce to have a safe environment, they have these bodies, and in uh, whichever sector or whichever format you're facing the issue, you can just go ahead and complain it to these bodies. Now coming to the next one being the UK. The UK also has a set of rules that's already set to the even for the separate private sector companies, they have a set of policies, like the people should be aware of what's happening and they should know whom to contact to in case of any complaints, and it should be transparent, and how the particular person, if needed, should come across and put it or inform another organization about it. So all these are already mentioned. In addition to that, just like USA, they also have a set of new different sectors like the Accounts Commission, the Auditor General, the Auditor General for Scotland, Audit Scotland, Bank of England. So all of these places, you can also contact them to if there is any problem that's happening in the different sectors. So this is just the finance sector that I've talked about. So there are a lot of other organizations for broadcasting sector, for housing, and for charities, for children's interests, everything. So these are what's happening in the different countries. And now, if I'm saying what is the problem with these, I would say USA and UK are having most of these systems. And according to the new according to the National Whistleblower Center for USA, they are doing a good job, but then there is a room for improvement. Like, even though there are like a lot of complaint, if there is 100% complaint, only 87% goes to the organization itself. It doesn't come out of the organization. So these are the problems that's happening, and the people are not ready to come across and put their problems ahead to the other organization or government bodies. So that's the one thing that's happening in USA. And in UK, what's happening is that um, there have been cases where the effectiveness is not the effectiveness of these laws are not in place actually, or in par. So what's happening is that even though you have a set of rules and regulations, it's not the common man is not aware of these things, so they don't know which particular sector, which particular law body should they go to for these problems. So all these are a concern in UK. And in Canada, we find a lot of room for improvement, because even though there are all these like I said, for the public sector and the private sector, there are two different set of rules for those two different sectors, and they are actually giving more and more rewards for people to come across with the whistleblower complaints. But still, there is like, for the past years, there were like cases where you could only find one or two problems from the public sector. And even though you are ready to give the money using like a carrot scheme, but still people are not ready to come forward and let us know what the problem is. So these are the problems with these systems, and we should find new methods so that it's more transparent for even the common men. And then also they should know how to come across and how to overcome these issues, and which body to contact, and what is the safest path or safest route to get to the body and talk it out. So these are the problems and these are the solutions. Now, the next one being the argument against whistleblowing. I would say that whistleblowing according to me, is a very ethical procedure or ethical practice that actually helps the company a lot. But the arguments against would be that what I would be considering is that, like I mentioned, there are a lot of rules and regulations or acts for the whistleblowing procedures or whistleblowers happening around in most of the countries, but then it's not enforced in the 100% efficiency, or it's not fully effective. So there are a lot of problems that's happening because of that. And people are in danger. Their life is in danger, even they are getting threatened there's a life threat happening for them, so when they come across. So all these problems are the arguments that I feel against the whistleblowing. And then, now, one non-USA example would be, so I'm from India, and I would suggest to, talk about one particular case that caught my eye. So it was actually from a person called as Satyendra Dubey. So he was actually working in the Indian Engineering Service as an engineer. So he was responsible for one of the, highest um, highest revenued, or a project that had a very high capital in our country. So it was actually to build a highway that connected some of the major cities of India using the 4 lanes. Okay, so what happened was that he could find a lot of unethical practices happening inside his, under his tenure, or in his tenure. And then, so he came across and complained this to that time Prime Minister Bihari Vajpayee, using a letter. So he mentioned all these details to him, and then he had them terminated. But unfortunately, it resulted in his murder after a while. So it actually happened because of his corruption and his ethical behavior that led to his death. So this actually proves the need for more and more rules and regulations, and also making sure that these are in effect, or these are in practice, or these are happening in real life, so that such incidents never happen again. So that's my assignment of whistleblowing, I guess. Yeah, I don't remember the number. I guess it's assignment number 4. Yeah, so thank you and have a good day.